You are about to uncover the single most profound concept Machiavelli believed determines success or failure in life. This isn't about fleeting tactics or simplistic advice, but a deep psychological principle rooted in historical observation. It's a foundational understanding that, once grasped, reshapes your perception of ambition, strategy, and personal power. Prepare to delve into the core of human agency as seen through the eyes of a master strategist. This topic holds immense relevance for anyone interested in psychological power, understanding human behavior, or mastering their own path. Machiavelli's insights, often misunderstood, provide a stark, pragmatic lens through which to view leadership, personal influence, and navigating complex situations. It's about more than just political maneuverings. It's about the very architecture of effective action in any domain you pursue. In this video, we will precisely define the one thing Machiavelli identified, explore its intricate components, and dissect why it remains critically important in modern contexts. We will examine how this principle shapes outcomes, distinguishing mere aspiration from tangible achievement. Our aim is to provide a clear, factual framework, dispelling common misconceptions without making grand, unrealistic promises. Having dedicated years to the study of classical philosophy, historical statecraft, and the intricate dynamics of dark psychology, I've observed how these timeless principles manifest in contemporary life. My approach synthesizes academic rigor with practical application, drawing from verifiable historical accounts and philosophical texts. I am here to share insights, not to preach infallible truths, but to offer a new perspective. To truly appreciate this profound insight, you must first understand the world that shaped Machiavelli's thinking and the fundamental terms he employed. Without this essential context, his one thing might seem abstract or even contradictory to modern sensibilities, obscuring its true potent meaning. We must first establish the ground upon which his philosophy stands. Niccolò Machiavelli penned The Prince during a turbulent era in 16th century Italy, a fragmented land ravaged by warring city-states and foreign invasions. This was not a time for idealism. Survival demanded a ruthless pragmatism. His observations were forged in the crucible of political instability, personal exile, and the ever-present struggle for dominance, painting a stark picture of power dynamics. Central to his work is the concept of realpolitik, a philosophy that prioritizes practical considerations over ethical or ideological ones in political decision-making. Machiavelli stripped away romantic notions of leadership, focusing instead on what actually works to acquire and maintain power, often challenging conventional morality. He examined human nature as it truly is, rather than how it should be. Machiavelli is frequently mischaracterized as a proponent of pure evil, yet many scholars argue he was merely a brutally honest observer, offering a diagnostic rather than prescriptive moral guide. He presented a mirror to the political landscape, revealing the harsh realities of governance and the human condition. His work serves as a manual for statecraft, not a sermon for ethical living. Imagine you are a doctor diagnosing a severe illness. Your primary goal is to find the most effective cure, not necessarily the gentlest one. Machiavelli approached leadership with similar clinical detachment. He saw leaders as physicians of the state, needing to apply sometimes unpleasant but necessary remedies to ensure the health and stability of the body politic, regardless of personal discomfort. This foundational understanding of his historical context and philosophical approach is crucial. It's within this unvarnished reality that Machiavelli identified the single most vital quality for anyone seeking success. Grasping this backdrop allows us to prepare for the profound revelation of what he truly considered the one thing that ultimately determines your trajectory. The one thing Machiavelli says determines your success in life is virtù. This is not virtue in the modern sense of moral goodness. Instead, virtù encapsulates a complex blend of skill, courage, strength, foresight, and adaptability, the raw, formidable ability to achieve one's goals, particularly in a world marked by uncertainty and opposition. It's the intrinsic drive and capacity to act decisively and effectively. Virtù is demonstrated when a leader, faced with unforeseen challenges, can swiftly pivot strategy, display unwavering resolve, and inspire action. Consider a general who, despite being outnumbered, outmaneuvers his adversary through cunning tactics and bold execution, turning the tide of battle. This isn't merely luck, it's the manifestation of superior virtù, a potent Machiavellian mindset at play. This potent quality manifests in various forms. It could be the entrepreneur who repeatedly reinvents their business model amidst market shifts, or the individual who navigates personal setbacks with resilience and strategic planning. Virtù is about mastering one's capabilities and adapting them to external circumstances, always striving for mastery, embodying its psychological power through action. However, it is crucial to understand that virtù is not a guarantee of success. Machiavelli explicitly recognized its limitations. Even the most capable individual can be undone by fortuna, luck, chance, or uncontrollable external events. Virtù equips you to wrestle with fortuna, to minimize its negative impact, but never to fully subjugate it. There are forces beyond even the greatest human will. Having unveiled virtù as Machiavelli's central concept, we must now delve deeper into its components and how it operates in real-world scenarios. It's not enough to simply know what it is. We must explore how it interacts with the complex human psyche and the unpredictable world around us. Understanding its nuances is the next crucial step in its mastery. Delving deeper into virtù, we find it is fundamentally about an individual's capacity to recognize the demands of a situation and respond with appropriate, decisive action. This involves a profound self-awareness, an acute understanding of human nature, and the courage to make difficult choices. It's a dynamic quality, continuously honed through experience and reflective practice, demanding constant vigilance. Machiavelli observed that truly successful individuals possess an innate shrewdness, enabling them to anticipate challenges and opportunities. This foresight isn't mystic. It stems from careful observation, historical knowledge, and an ability to read people and situations. They demonstrate emotional control, remaining calm under pressure, which is vital for clear strategic thinking and effective execution. Moreover, virtù necessitates an extraordinary degree of adaptability. When circumstances change, as they invariably do, the individual with virtù does not cling rigidly to old methods. Instead, they pivot, adjust, and innovate, demonstrating a flexible yet resolute will. This fluid response to adversity is a hallmark of true strategic acumen and often differentiates mere contenders from genuine leaders. Consider the athlete who adapts their training regimen to overcome a new, rivals strength, or the negotiator who shifts tactics mid-discussion to secure a better outcome. These are micro-examples of virtù in action. It's not just about brute force, but also about intellectual agility and the psychological resilience to remain effective when plans deviate from the ideal, fostering a resilient Machiavellian mindset. While virtù emphasizes individual capability, its full expression often involves understanding and leveraging the behaviors of others. This brings us to a more intricate facet of Machiavelli's thought, one that examines the darker currents of human motivation and how they can be strategically navigated for personal and collective advantage. Machiavelli held a profoundly cynical, yet arguably realistic view of human nature. He believed people are generally self-interested, fickle, and prone to ambition and deception. Virtù, therefore, demands an understanding of these inherent flaws, not to condemn them, but to anticipate and manage them. This perspective is foundational for anyone seeking genuine psychological power and influence. An individual possessing virtù does not rely on the goodwill or inherent morality of others. Instead, they assess motivations pragmatically, understanding that people are often driven by fear or personal gain. This isn't a call to treat everyone with suspicion, but a strategic awareness that prevents naive vulnerabilities. It cultivates an inner resilience and an ability to protect one's interests effectively. This cynical lens empowers the virtuous leader to navigate treacherous social and professional landscapes. By anticipating potential betrayals or resistances, they can proactively mitigate risks and prepare contingency plans. It's about being prepared for the worst while hoping for the best, a principle that resonates strongly with elements of dark psychology, when applied responsibly for self-preservation. For Machiavelli, the leader with virtù must be both lion and fox, strong enough to deter enemies and cunning enough to avoid traps. This duality highlights the importance of strategic flexibility and the ability to project an image that serves one's objectives, whether that image is of strength, benevolence, or cunning. It's a calculated dance between perception and reality. Understanding this perspective on human nature provides the canvas upon which virtù is painted. Yet, even the most capable individual, armed with unparalleled virtù, must contend with an unpredictable force that can unravel the best-laid plans. This external element, which Machiavelli called Fortuna, presents the next significant challenge to achieving lasting success. Alongside virtù, Machiavelli introduces Fortuna, often translated as luck or fate. Fortuna represents all the unpredictable, uncontrollable elements that impact our lives: chance occurrences, natural disasters, shifts in political winds, or unforeseen market crashes. Even the most astute individual, with exceptional virtù, cannot entirely escape the whims of Fortuna, making success a dynamic interplay. Machiavelli famously compares Fortuna to a raging river that, when in flood, devastates everything in its path. However, he also argues that while its power is immense, humanity is not entirely helpless. During calmer times, people can build dams and embankments, preparing for the inevitable torrent. This proactive approach is where virtù directly confronts and attempts to mitigate Fortuna's destructive potential. Cultivating virtù means developing the foresight and discipline to prepare for adverse circumstances, even when they seem distant. This resonates with Stoicism, which teaches acceptance of what cannot be controlled and focusing energy on what can. A leader with Virtù doesn't lament bad luck. They adapt to it, seeking opportunities within the chaos or minimizing its damage through prior preparation. Furthermore, Virtù allows an individual to recognize and seize opportunities that Fortuna might present. Sometimes, luck delivers a favorable situation, but it requires the right mindset and readiness to capitalize on it. This combination of preparedness and opportune action distinguishes those who merely observe fate from those who actively shape their destiny, even within limits. The relationship between Virtù and Fortuna is a constant struggle, a dance between human agency and external forces. While we cannot command Fortuna, we can certainly influence our readiness and response. This dynamic leads us to consider the crucial ethical tightrope Machiavelli walked and how Virtù often intersects with difficult moral choices, particularly in the realm of a Machiavellian mindset. The Machiavellian mindset, when properly understood through the lens of Virtù, prioritizes the preservation and success of one's enterprise or state, sometimes above conventional morality. Machiavelli famously argued that a ruler must learn how not to be good when circumstances demand it. This isn't an endorsement of evil, but a pragmatic recognition that survival sometimes requires morally ambiguous choices. This perspective doesn't suggest discarding ethics entirely, but rather understanding their contextual application. For Machiavelli, maintaining stability and security for the populace was the ultimate moral good for a prince. If a small injustice prevents a greater catastrophe, then the leader with Virtù must be prepared to enact that injustice, always weighing consequences over abstract principles. This nuanced position is where much of the controversy surrounding Machiavelli arises. He challenged the prevailing notion that good ends could only be achieved through good means. Instead, he proposed that a leader must be willing to dirty their hands for the greater good, a concept that sits at the heart of dark psychology. When exploring the gray areas of human action and influence, developing a Virtù-driven mindset means cultivating emotional control to make objective decisions, even when they are personally difficult or unpopular. It requires the capacity to detach from personal feelings and focus purely on strategic outcomes. This psychological fortitude is indispensable for anyone navigating high-stakes environments where emotional reactions can lead to disastrous errors. As we dissect this delicate balance between pragmatism and personal ethics, it becomes clear that cultivating Virtù is not a passive endeavor. It demands deliberate effort, a conscious shaping of one's character and mental faculties. This leads us directly to the practical methods for nurturing and strengthening this indispensable quality within ourselves. Cultivating Virtù is fundamentally about enhancing your psychological power and mental resilience. This begins with relentless self-assessment and an honest inventory of your strengths and weaknesses. Recognize where you are susceptible to impulsive decisions or emotional biases and actively work to reinforce those areas. This self-awareness is the bedrock of strategic self-mastery. One practical step involves deliberate exposure to challenging situations. Instead of avoiding discomfort, seek out opportunities that push your boundaries. Whether in professional projects, personal learning, or even physical endeavors, each successfully navigated challenge builds confidence and refines your adaptive capabilities, strengthening your capacity to face future uncertainties with resolve. Another crucial aspect is the disciplined practice of foresight and contingency planning. Regularly consider potential obstacles or adverse events related to your goals and brainstorm proactive responses. This mental exercise prepares you for Fortuna's unpredictability, allowing you to react strategically rather than impulsively, fostering a more robust Machiavellian mindset and reducing anxiety. Emotional control is paramount. Engage in practices that enhance self-regulation, such as mindfulness, reflective journaling, or even structured problem-solving. Learning to observe your emotions without being consumed by them allows for clearer judgment and more calculated actions, preventing rash decisions that undermine your long-term objectives. To truly develop virtù, however, one must also learn from the successes and failures of others. Observing how historical figures or contemporary leaders exercised or failed to exercise. Virtù offers invaluable lessons without personal cost. This continuous learning from external examples helps refine your own strategic toolkit and prepare you for exercising influence. If you're finding value in these insights, consider sharing this video to help others deepen their understanding of these powerful concepts. An integral part of Virtù is the ability to influence and persuade others, a skill that translates directly into psychological power. Machiavelli understood that leadership is not merely about issuing commands, but about garnering support and shaping perceptions. This involves mastering communication, understanding group dynamics, and knowing when to apply pressure versus when to offer incentives. For Machiavelli, effective persuasion often involved a blend of fear and affection, or at least respect. While it might be ideal to be both loved and feared, he famously asserted that if forced to choose, it is safer for a leader to be feared. This isn't about cruelty, but about ensuring compliance and deterring dissent through the credible threat of consequences, an aspect of dark psychology that emphasizes behavioral conditioning. The leader with virtù uses language strategically, carefully crafting messages that resonate with their audience's self-interest or deepest concerns. They understand the power of rhetoric and symbolism, employing them to build alliances, inspire loyalty, or neutralize opposition. This requires keen observation of human psychology and an ability to adapt one's persuasive approach to different individuals and groups. Furthermore, demonstrating consistent competence and decisive action builds a reputation for virtù. When people perceive you as capable, strong, and effective, they are more likely to follow your lead. This reputation, earned through consistent performance and the successful navigation of challenges, becomes a potent tool for influence, enhancing your overall Machiavellian mindset. Understanding these principles of influence is crucial for applying virtù beyond abstract theory. Next, we will explore how these Machiavellian insights translate into tangible advantages within the professional environment, offering practical applications for career advancement and leadership in today's complex corporate world. Applying virtù in a professional setting means demonstrating exceptional competence, strategic foresight, and adaptability in your career. It involves taking ownership of challenges, presenting solutions rather than problems, and consistently delivering high-quality results. This proactive approach distinguishes you from peers and positions you as an indispensable asset within any organization, building your psychological power. For aspiring leaders, virtù translates into an ability to inspire and guide teams through complex projects and market shifts. It means making tough decisions when necessary, taking calculated risks, and maintaining a clear vision even amidst uncertainty. This leadership quality is not about popularity, but about proven effectiveness and the ability to steer the collective toward successful outcomes, embodying a true Machiavellian mindset. Navigating office politics also benefits from a virtue-informed perspective. Understanding underlying motivations, identifying key influencers, and building strategic alliances are crucial. This doesn't endorse manipulation, but rather a pragmatic awareness of social dynamics that allows you to advocate effectively for your projects and career trajectory, sometimes drawing on insights from dark psychology for defensive strategies. Maintaining emotional control in high-pressure professional situations is another hallmark of Virtù. Responding calmly and rationally to setbacks, criticism, or unexpected obstacles allows for clearer problem-solving and projects an image of strength and reliability. This steady temperament earns respect and fosters trust among colleagues and superiors, solidifying your professional standing. While the application of Virtù can yield significant professional benefits, it's vital to acknowledge that misinterpretations or excessive zeal can lead to pitfalls. An unchecked pursuit of power, devoid of balance, can become detrimental. Thus, we must explore the dangers of an extreme Machiavellian approach and identify where the pursuit of Virtù can go awry. While Virtù emphasizes pragmatism, an extreme or misapplied Machiavellian mindset can lead to significant ethical pitfalls and long-term detriment. A literal interpretation, prioritizing self-interest at all costs without regard for others, often results in isolation, distrust, and a reputation for being ruthless. This alienates potential allies and creates a toxic environment, ultimately undermining sustainable success. Machiavelli's counsel was for a prince operating in a unique historical context where state survival often justified extreme measures. Translating this directly to personal or corporate life without careful consideration of context can be destructive. Exploiting others, engaging in deceit purely for gain, or discarding all ethical boundaries will erode your credibility and ultimately diminish your genuine psychological power. The ethical trap lies in viewing people as mere tools or obstacles. While a pragmatic assessment of motivations is useful, a complete dehumanization leads to actions that violate trust and integrity. This short-sighted approach, characteristic of unchecked dark psychology, without moral compass, might yield immediate gains, but rarely fosters enduring relationships or long-term loyalty, which are essential for sustained influence. Furthermore, consistently employing tactics that are perceived as morally reprehensible will inevitably lead to blowback. Reputation is a powerful currency, and once tarnished, it is incredibly difficult to restore. A leader who is only feared without any element of respect or even grudging admiration often faces rebellion or sabotage, as Machiavelli himself noted, could happen with excessive cruelty. Understanding these dangers is not to dilute the power of Virtù, but to frame its application responsibly. True Machiavellian wisdom lies in knowing when and how to apply its principles, not in a blanket adoption of its most extreme interpretations. This leads us to the crucial discussion of balancing Virtù with personal ethics to achieve meaningful, lasting success without compromising one's integrity. Achieving authentic and sustainable success requires balancing virtù with a robust personal ethical framework. While Machiavelli offered a pragmatic view of power, he never explicitly advocated for gratuitous cruelty or deceit. The wise application of virtù understands that ethical conduct, honesty, and trustworthiness are powerful assets that build strong alliances and foster long-term cooperation, amplifying psychological power. Integrating ethical principles means exercising virtù, not just for personal gain, but also for the collective good, or at least in a way that aligns with broader values. This nuanced approach recognizes that a strong moral foundation can enhance credibility and influence, making your decisions more palatable and your leadership more respected. It's about being effective, not necessarily being perceived as inherently good in every instance. Consider that long-term success often depends on relationships, reputation, and trust, while applied a Machiavellian mindset teaches the importance of being prepared for adversity. It also subtly implies the value of having loyal supporters, consistently acting with integrity, even when it presents a momentary disadvantage, often pays dividends in the form of unwavering support and respect when you truly need it. This balance means knowing when to be the lion and when to be the fox, but also understanding when to simply be human, transparent, fair, and reliable. It's about choosing your battles, knowing which lines not to cross, and recognizing that not every situation demands a cynical, self-serving response. Ethical lines define your personal boundaries and preserve your inner peace. By thoughtfully integrating virtù with personal ethics, you cultivate a form of psychological power that is both potent and sustainable. This deeper understanding of self and strategy leads us to explore how ancient Stoic principles can further fortify one's virtù, particularly in mastering the inner world of emotions and reactions. The intersection of virtù and Stoicism offers a powerful synergy, particularly in mastering emotional control. Stoicism teaches us to distinguish between what is within our control, our thoughts, reactions, actions, and what is outside of it, external events, other people's opinions, Fortuna. This distinction is precisely what strengthens an individual's virtù. Against the onslaught of life's unpredictabilities, a Stoic approach fortifies virtù by cultivating inner resilience. By accepting that certain aspects of Fortuna are beyond command, one learns to focus energy on effective responses rather than fruitless lamentation. This emotional discipline prevents reactive decisions and allows for a more considered, strategic application of one's skills and resolve, enhancing your overall psychological power. Furthermore, Stoicism's emphasis on virtue in its classical sense of wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance aligns with the deeper aspects of virtù. While Machiavelli's virtù is pragmatic, it is also about excellence and strategic intelligence. The Stoic virtues provide a framework for ethical decision-making that can guide the application of virtù, preventing it from devolving into mere opportunism or dark psychology. By practicing Stoic principles, such as negative visualization, contemplating potential losses, or journaling to analyze reactions, individuals can enhance their ability to remain composed under pressure. This mental training strengthens the resolve necessary for virtù and allows for clearer judgment, even in situations designed to provoke fear or anger, bolstering your Machiavellian mindset against emotional hijacking. This integration provides a comprehensive framework for personal power, Virtù for external effectiveness, and Stoicism for internal fortitude. Now, having explored its foundations, nuances, and ethical considerations, we can turn to the truly practical application of Virtù in your daily life, offering concrete steps to integrate this powerful concept. To implement Virtù in your daily life, begin by cultivating radical self-awareness. Regularly reflect on your actions, motivations, and emotional responses. Ask yourself, was my action effective? Did I achieve my intended outcome? What biases influenced my decision? This honest introspection is the first step toward refining your internal compass and developing greater psychological power. Next, practice proactive problem solving. Instead of waiting for issues to escalate, identify potential challenges in your personal or professional life and brainstorm solutions before they become urgent. This foresight, a key component of Virtù, allows you to act decisively and strategically when Fortuna inevitably introduces unforeseen complications, transforming potential crises into manageable situations. Develop an unshakable commitment to learning and adaptation. The world is constantly changing, and clinging to outdated methods or beliefs limits your effectiveness. Actively seek new knowledge, solicit feedback, and be willing to revise your approach when evidence suggests a better path. This intellectual agility is crucial for maintaining a dynamic and effective Machiavellian mindset. Consciously work on emotional control. Before reacting to a challenging person or frustrating event, pause. Take a deep breath, observe your emotions without judgment, and then choose your response deliberately. This practice prevents impulsive actions that can undermine your goals and reputation, allowing you to maintain composure and act with strategic intent. Finally, integrate a results-oriented perspective, always considering the practical outcome of your efforts. Evaluate whether your actions are truly moving you toward your objectives or merely satisfying an emotional need. This pragmatic focus, characteristic of Virtù, ensures your energy is directed toward what genuinely matters, preparing you for the concluding synthesis of these powerful ideas. Implementing Virtù involves a continuous process of learning, adaptation, and self-mastery. Start by identifying one area in your life where you wish to exert greater influence or achieve more significant success. Apply the principles of strategic foresight, emotional control, adapting, and pragmatic action consistently. Small, deliberate steps build momentum and reinforce these powerful habits over time. For those eager to delve deeper, exploring primary Machiavellian texts like The Prince or Discourses on Livy can offer profound insights. Additionally, engaging with modern analyses of a psychological power and leadership or works on Stoicism can provide complementary frameworks to solidify your understanding of human behavior and strategic thinking. It is crucial to be realistic about results. Cultivating Virtù is a lifelong journey, not a quick fix. You will face setbacks, make mistakes, and contend with Fortuna's unpredictability. The measure of your Virtù lies not in avoiding these challenges, but in how you learn from them, adapt your approach, and persist in the face of adversity, demonstrating your developing Machiavellian mindset. I encourage you to engage with these ideas critically. Consider how Machiavelli's concept of Virtù resonates with your own experiences and aspirations. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you see Virtù manifesting in leadership today? Your perspective contributes to a deeper collective understanding of these complex and enduring principles. Machiavelli's One Thing, Virtù, offers a powerful lens for navigating the complexities of life. It compels you to embrace self-reliance, strategic thinking, and unwavering resolve, not for the sake of manipulation, but for the authentic pursuit of your chosen path. By understanding and cultivating your virtù, you empower yourself to face any challenge with strength and purpose, shaping your destiny in a world of constant flux. See you in the next one.